Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita Khemka.
Hello, and I'm Yatin Mota.
Well, what a dramatic turnaround, Yatin, in the last hour of trade. In fact, we hit a fresh high today on the Nifty, 22,783 or thereabouts. But, the last hour of trade completely changed the complexion. In fact, we managed to end the day in the red after hitting fresh highs. The Nifty Bank index also, Yatin, want to mention that, came just about 25 points away from that landmark 50,000 mark. But as I mentioned, it was quite a dramatic turnaround, which saw the Bank Nifty also coming off nearly 1.5% from the day's high. If you talk about the broad end of the markets as well, they also managed to hit fresh highs in intraday trade, but everything the gains kind of fizzled out in the last hour of trade. But the Nifty Auto Index managed to cruise along, Yatin, helped by a sharp rally in shares of M&M, and of course we also have the auto sales data coming in tomorrow. Ahead of that, the Nifty Auto Index also hit a fresh high. If you look at some of the sectoral laggards, IT, metals, pharma, some of the defensive names were among the top sectoral laggards, but realty and auto, even though we saw a turnaround in the last hour, these two sectors managed to lend some support to the indices. But the Nifty ended below that 22,600 mark, Yatin, after making a new peak. Among the individual movers today, you had M&M, of course, near 5% kind of gains coming in there. Power Grid, Moto, IndusInd Bank, Bajaj Auto, HDFC Life, these were some of the gainers on the index. On the flip side, a lot of these tech and metal names featured on the top Nifty losers list. So you had Tech Mahindra, you had JSW Steel, Tata Steel, HCL Tech. Aside of that, the BPCL, Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, these were some of the losers in trade. India VIX also, Yatin, after yesterday's 12% up move today as well, the volatility of course has increased at highs. So today India VIX also up somewhere around 5% or thereabouts, Yatin. But quite a few results reactions once again coming in with REC, Yatin, jumping almost 10% after good numbers. But what were the other movers? So
starting with J&K India, that is one company which got listed on the bourses today. Very strong momentum. In fact, it listed at a 50% premium, ended the day high by nearly 67% versus the IPO price of 415. So the stock settled at nearly 700 rupees. So good momentum coming in for this particular stock. When it comes to result reactions, we had REC obviously reacting to the numbers, as well as through the day we saw buying both in REC and PFC. REC, however, posed the numbers moved nearly 10%. We also had stocks like Power India, K Fintech, Just Dial, Schaeffler, and Schaeffler post the earnings has been witnessing momentum today. Also, that stock moved nearly 6%. Godrej Industries, Jubilant Foodworks, these are the stocks from the FMCG pack which moved nearly 6%. What was not doing well, profit taking in Motilal Oswal Financial Services, that stock was down 5%. SPFC, and there was a block deal by the promoters wherein they sold nearly 5.5% at 88 rupees. That stock also was under pressure, 4.5% down. IOC post a 4,000 crore miss on the EBITDA versus expectations. That stock went down 5%, and so did the entire oil marketing pack. So HPCL, BPCL, IOC, all of these three stocks went down, and AB Capital and Birla Soft for the other stocks which were witnessing some bit of profit taking at higher levels.
All right, those were all the movers and shakers, of course, reacting to results. But on that note, let's take a look at some of the stocks that are on our radar this afternoon. Yatin, starting with the stock of the day, M&M. Of course, the new revamped version of XUV 300. That launch, really fired up the stock of M&M. It hit a fresh 52-week high. In fact, the rally in the M&M drove the auto index also to a fresh high. The stock, as I mentioned, has hit a fresh 52-week high. It has launched its compact SUV, XUV 3XO. It's basically an updated version of XUV 300, and of course the pricing is pretty aggressive, Yatin. 7.5 lakhs ex showroom, and the new model of course features a revamped design, a new array of added features. It has a new cabin and an updated automatic gearbox as well. The management has said that 3XO is a disruptor, a product which comes at an aggressive pricing, and it will compete with other popular compact SUVs like Tata Nexon. You have Hyundai Venue, Venue, you have Kia Sonet. These are some of Maruti Brezza as well. So these are some of the competitors in the compact SUV segment. I think M&M held a fifth slot. Now the company is aiming to to be counted among the first two in the next 3 years by FY27 or thereabouts. Now this particular model will be available both in petrol and diesel versions. Of course, the online and offline bookings will start on the 15th of May and the deliveries will start on the 26th of May, and the model will be rolled out from its Nasik facility. As I mentioned, the company is aiming to be among the top 2 players in the compact SUV segment, and this could actually trigger a price war in this particular segment, Yatin. Although in the SUV segment or compact SUV segment, by revenue, M&M has got the leadership, but by volumes it has been lagging behind, and this launch is something that aims to address that particular issue. Let's take a look at what brokerages have said about the stock. Investec has retained its buy rating, target price of 2,200 rupees per share. It says that the XUV 3XO launch will improve share in the compact SUV segment, and it remains a top pick for Investec due to the earnings momentum as well as new launches. In fact, if you look at the stock price of M&M, Yatin, it has rallied somewhere around 75% in the last 1 year and in excess of 20% YTD. Even then, Investec says that valuations are pretty comfortable. Nomura also says that this is the top pick in the OEM space, and in fact, this particular launch will help the company has the potential to actually double its sales, Yatin. So all in all, good reviews coming in from brokerages. Of course, we'll have to see how the price war in the compact SUV segment takes place.
Absolutely, and 7.5 lakh rupees the entry vehicle. I think it goes up to 15.5 lakhs. So yes, a whole range of products is what Mahindra has rolled out from manual to diesel, petrol, and to automatic versions. But yes, the stock moved in a big way after this new launch announcement. But what did not do well post the earnings is Tata Chemicals. Now, if you look at the results, the EBITDA has halved on a year-on-year basis, clearly putting pressure on the overall profitability. Margins are down nearly 9 percentage points, and revenues also were seen down 21%. Obviously, the culprit is weak commodity prices, weak chemical prices, and weak soda ash prices, which have impacted the overall profitability for Tata Chemicals. In fact, if you look at the volumes, they have been also lower, putting pressure on the margins. Now, the company also reported a UK impairment loss of nearly 960 crores, which clearly took a toll overall on the profitability. In fact, the adjusted PAT came in at 145 crores versus a level of 700 crores last year. So on the back of weakening chemical prices, Tata Chemicals stock has seen some bit of pressure. Obviously, recently the speculation was that the Tata Sons IPO will bring some value unlocking at Tata Chemicals level, and hence the stock also had seen a run up. But with the results disappointing, plus no Tata Sons IPO in sight, I think a lot of investors booked profit in trade today. In fact, the stock was down nearly 5.5% last time I checked. So yes, a lot of pressure coming in for the stock of Tata Chemicals. On your screens, ended the day lower by nearly 2.5%.
Well, you're right, Yatin. In fact, a lot of these, the run-up that the stock had seen, with no update on Tata Sons IPO, all of those gains were literally erased from the counter. But on that note, let's take a look at the other stock that's on my list. It's a Tata Group stock again, Yatin. Trent, good numbers. Stock hit a fresh record high today on the back of stellar numbers, and good management commentary also, gives confidence to investors when it comes to this particular stock. It saw a multi-fold jump in its fourth quarter profit. Management commentary, as I mentioned, was upbeat. The company has said that it will continue to expand and deepen its store presence. If you look at what Zudio had done, it had added somewhere around 193 stores in FY24 vis-a-vis their guidance of 200 or target of 200 set earlier. So they have largely met their guidance when it comes to store expansion. And if you look at the various segments like beauty and personal care, innerwear, footwear, all of these segments have contributed 20% of standalone revenue. Brokerage is also pretty bullish on the stock. Nuvama, in fact, has said that the profit growth is a factor of franchisee-driven expansion in Zudio, and they've retained their buy rating target price at rupees 4,926 vis-a-vis 4,300 or thereabouts. So 15% upside, from their last target. Morgan Stanley has also got an equal weight rating. Target price, however, is a little lower at 3,675. They've noted that both the top line and margins have beaten estimates, and gross margin for both formats were consistent with the prior trends. Grocery format also saw continued improvement according to Morgan Stanley. Jefferies has a hold rating, target price raised to 4,150. They've also said that the like-for-like growth, Yatin, was good, 10% double-digit growth coming in, and they have drawn confidence for that. And so on the on the store addition front also, Jefferies has said that it was another strong quarter for this particular company. And with market cap in excess of $18 billion, the company is likely to become more mainstream. That's what Jefferies has said. If you look at the share price, Yatin, it has rallied nearly 50% on a YTD basis itself. It has also earned an upgrade from Antique broking. So all in all, outlook looks pretty good. So you can say that it was a fashionable quarter for Trent, and an equally fashionable rally on shares of Trent. Of course, ended 2.5% higher, but during the day it saw very good gains. Kind of fizzled out from there.
Absolutely, and with the markets, we saw some volatility in the stock, but yes, overall a healthy quarter for Trent, and this is one stock which always surprises on the upside when it comes to the quarterly earnings. At least for the last 2-3 quarters, is what I saw, that their margin performance and like-to-like growth has been quite strong.
Well then, I think those were all the stocks on our radar this afternoon, but of course it's a truncated week. We have a market off tomorrow, but let's hope that we ride through this volatile phase that we saw in the last hour of trade, and we managed to resume the rally, and 50,000 on the Nifty Bank index is still pending. But with that, we've completely timed out on this edition of Closing Bell. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Stay tuned to Moneycontrol for all your other news and updates.